And they think that 2030 is when that's going to kick off. The 2030 project. You hear them talking about it a lot, right? 2030, 2030, 2030. And so what happens is that they saw this in Project Looking Glass. They saw it, right? They knew that it was coming. But Project Looking Glass tells them they lose, right? And that's when they stopped going to it, stopped looking at it altogether. Now, another thing that leads me to the theory that this is Nephilim-based technology is because in the book of Revelations, when it talks about the Battle of Armageddon, it talks about how the crows feast on the bodies of men and mighty men. Mighty men are Nephilim, right? So the Nephilim have to make a return to basically the days of Noah, modern society. People don't realize this, but Noah was around like during the Nephilim days, peak Nephilim days, peak Watcher days. Enoch was on the earth the same time Noah was. People don't really combine that, right? Tim Burchett talking about how there's alien bases living, 5 to 6 of them off the coast. They already know, right? Trump's got this speech that he's supposed to give, acknowledging that we're not alone, and normalize some type of relations with these beings, right? Again, demons, no argument. Aliens, again, no argument. We just call them on this channel the not S's, right? Not S's. Angels, sure, no argument. Whatever flavor you got, man, but they're not us. They're not us's, right? They're something else, right? But he can't get untangled with these files that have been dropped, right? He can't get entangled with it, right? And again, I have to admit, I have to give credit where credit is due, right? On this channel, like I said, you'll hear me say it a lot. I don't know. That's weird. I find that odd. That was strange. But man, right now, them Q files are looking like a lot of that stuff that they said going on in there is real, right? And I have a really good friend, he's probably watching this show, where I give him a hard time on my phone all the time, right? He says that this is all an act that's coming forward, right? He's a big Q head, right? I'm not. We go back and forth. But the global cabal of satanic people cannot survive in the light. They can't. They can't do it. This goes beyond a global reset, right? For example, the last global reset we actually experienced was World War II, right? But things are different now. You can't, when something in the dark is pulled forth and light is shined on it, it can never go back into the dark, period. And that's exactly what happened. I've done several talks on this channel talking about how symbolism will be their downfall, and it is their downfall, because once you understand what this is or what this means or all this stupid stuff that they do, whatever, once you understand what that means, they can never not, there's no other way for them to communicate, right? So you see it, and it puts that stain on them, and they can't get away with it, right? So these files being dragged forth, right, to not only show that almost every government on the planet is a sham, that we're controlled by a billionaire, basically cannibalistic, demon worshipping, people, and that's exactly what they are. You can't unsee it. And when you hear these names come out, right, you can't get that stain off of you, right? You can't. And that's what's happening.
Subscribe now and turn on the notifications to join us on this extraordinary journey into the unknown.